Hello everyone, welcome to the third Shelly webinar, external Shelly webinar. My name is Shania and I'm the Learning and Development Specialist for Shelly. In this session, we will exclusively discuss LoRa Add-On device. The duration of the session is 1 hour and Miroslav Gechev is here with me, who is the absolute product expert and product owner who will walk you through the product features and specifics. The first part of the session is dedicated to a couple of slides that Miroslav will show you. And right after that, we will have a demo session. And at the end, we will have a Q&A. Please use the Q&A section in Teams where you can add all your questions. And at the end, Miro will take some time to answer some of the questions. Thank you very much. Miro,
Thanks,
it's your turn.
Hi everyone, I'm super excited that we are finally able to show you and tell you more about the LoRa add-on. I imagine today, as Shania says, is in 3 parts. A very brief presentation of what is the LoRa add-on, then a short demo of showing you how to configure your LoRa add-on when you take it out of the box, and then we go to Q&A if something pops up that we didn't answer already. So, let's go. The basics. This is the Shelly LoRa add-on. The goal of the Shelly LoRa add-on is to add LoRa connectivity to your Shelly Gen 3 and Gen 4 devices. It's compatible only with Gen 3 and Gen 4 devices, not Gen 4. The way it works is a separate accessory that you can click on top of your Shelly relay. That's it. And now you have LoRa connectivity with this relay. Compatible hosts, as I mentioned, are Gen 3 and Gen 4 devices. You can see it on the list. It's Shelly 1 Gen 3, 1 PM Gen 3, 1 Gen 4, etc. The goal of the LoRa add-on is to enable long-range communication up to 5 kilometers in open space. And its goal is to work where other technologies fail. Think Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Zigbee, Z-Wave. Basically, in the bigger picture, LoRa as a technology, it's ideal when you need to send small amounts of data over long distances or through obstructive environments. Think basements, tunnels, thick walls. Basically places where you don't have any other type of signal, even you don't have a cell coverage. And this device, maybe as you can see on the right of the slide, it covers multiple regions, with a note that that we are going to enable US and Australia later this year with the firmware update. Currently, the device I'm holding out in my hand, it works in the European region. So this is the basic. How does it work? Well, to work, you need at least 2 Shelly host devices and 2 Shelly LoRa add-ons. That's why we also have, we will provide the Shelly with a double pack and a single pack. It's better for you, if you haven't touched it so far, to go with a double pack, to have 2 devices. So you need two relays. One is a sender, one is a receiver. Each of the devices can be both a sender and a receiver. And you see that we've built it with an external antenna. With this way, we can we achieve very high coverage, as I mentioned, up to 5 kilometers. And again, it's super simple to add it, to remove it, like this. Okay? Then you got it out of the box. You put it on your device. To make it work, I'm going to show you later in the demo, you have to configure the LoRa add-on. You have to go in the web app and select the region you're going to use it, the subband, the channel, and the data rate, or as the LoRa world calls it, spreading factor. How you're going to control this? Currently, you control it via scripts. And these scripts define the behavior on the sender and the receiver. We are also working on a Shelly protocol that's going to roll out later this year. That's going to give you some of the things off the shelf. You won't have to write them. You have encryption. You won't have to write your own encryption. You're going to use it out of the box, and many other goodies that we're going to release in the coming months. Simple. Okay, and for those of you who have never heard about LoRa and why it's there and how it works and why what is its domain, this slide is for you. So what is LoRa? What are the benefits? As I mentioned, the benefits are long range, low power consumption, and high scalability. Again, this is the ideal technology when you want to cover long distances or you want to go through obstructive environments. The drawback of LoRa is low data rate. And low data rate means that one of your packets, one of your sent packets can be up to 255 bytes per message. If you think about it, in the IoT world, 255 bytes, it's not a small amount of data. It's more than enough for most of the use cases we all have. And one very, very important thing that we are being asked a lot, LoRa is not the same as LoRaWAN. LoRa is the radio modulation technology, is the physical layer, while the LoRaWAN is the network protocol that runs over LoRa. We are not using LoRaWAN. We are using only LoRa. We are not using LoRaWAN, and we are developing our own Shelly protocol that's going to run on the LoRa radio technology. And think about it. This gives you another benefit. If you use LoRaWAN, you need to have an existing infrastructure, a gateway or a cell tower that you have to communicate with. With the LoRa add-on, you don't need any pre-existing infrastructure. You just need two devices or one device with multiple receivers, and that's it. And these guys can communicate with these devices can communicate with each other. It's super simple. It's super easy to set up. And use cases. Well, okay, our original use case, to be honest, was street and parking lighting. Think that you have streets with a lot of street lights or parking lots with a lot of lights that you as an owner or as a manager want to turn on, turn off, dim them, check if some of them are working or not. And this is how it looks actually. This is one street light. And this is a street light that has Shelly dimmer, 0 to 10 volts. And what we can do is just put the Shelly LoRa add-on on top of it, like this. And that's it. And do we see it? Okay. Okay. So I put the LoRa add-on top of the Shelly dimmer. I close the jar, and you can mount the lights on the street post. And that's it. And you can control this from wherever you are, basically. Okay, that's street lighting. What other use cases? Well, think out the agriculture. Basically, you can control or monitor irrigation or any other type of sensors remotely, especially at places on the field where you don't have access to any other technology. Or you can monitor underground garages or assets. And usually in these places, you don't have any other access, any other wireless technology, be it a cell technology or some other kind like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, Z-Wave. But to put it in a nutshell, LoRa add-on, the Shelly LoRa add-on and the LoRa technology is suitable for any scenario that requires reliable long-range control and where other technologies fail, like Wi-Fi, like Bluetooth, like Zigbee or Z-Wave. Okay, and time for the demo right now. I'll try to show you everything I've talked about. Don't be shy to ask questions. So, what is my setup? I have one Shelly. This is going to be my sender. I'm just going to plug it in. And this is my receiver that I've already powered on. If you've seen our previous videos with the tests we've done in these open spaces, basically this is a Shelly Gen 3 device that is powered by a 12-volt battery, and it has a LED strip. Basically, this device is right now listening for LoRa packets, and if the LoRa packet is correct, the light strip will just light on for a second. I'm going to show you the script in a minute. Now I'm going to plug on my sender, and it will come online any second. So as you see, I'm going to connect to it via IP, so we are live. And you saw maybe that this device already started receiving packets. The reason is that my script here is running on start. But imagine that you haven't touched, you have a brand new device out of the box. What do you do? Okay, so I got my Shelly 1 Gen 4 and LoRa add-on from the store. What I have to do? First, When I get my Shelly 1 Gen 4, I have to open it and update its firmware to version 1.6.0. This is the version that is going to give support to the LoRa add-on. We are going to unveil it to the market soon. So you first update your Shelly host device to this version. Then the device, of course, will reboot. You go to add-ons. You select that you want to use the Shelly LoRa add-on. Again, you click Save and Reboot. The device reboots. And after that, you're going to have this segment right here. And you see this like a big picture of of what the LoRa sender is doing. The send bytes, the receive bytes, and the airtime since I've started it. Okay, and how to configure the LoRa add-on? Through the pencil. I click here. I go to the LoRa configuration. And this is everything I have to configure for my LoRa add-on to work. One important thing before explaining what everything is, you have to have the same configuration. These data should be absolutely the same on all your devices that are going to communicate with each other, because either way they're not going to hear each other. Okay, what is the configuration all about? First, we have to select the region. As I told you, currently we have only the EU region. You select EU region. You choose the subband that you're going to use. I'm going to go back to the preset and explain you later. You select the bandwidth you want to use. There are two options, 125 kilohertz or 250. You select the channel you want to use, basically the part of the spectrum you want to use, and the data rate. What is the data rate? In the LoRa world, we also call it spreading factor. And think about it like this. The options for the data rate are between 7 and 12. And 7 means that the data is sent way more faster. The same amount of data is sent for less time, but it is prone to errors if the distance is too big. That is why it is recommended to use it for shorter distances. And with 12, it's the opposite. The same amount of data is being sent for a longer period of time, but this way, the error rate is way lower. So basically, it's good to use it when you have very noisy environments or long range. And all the other values are in between. Okay, and what does this preset do? We try to make it just easier for you. If you want to use long range, just click long range, and these values will be preset for you. The same for balance, the same for high throughput. I'm not going to touch them because if I touch them, my other device, the listener, won't work. Okay, so what I did so far, I got my Shelly 1 Gen 4, I updated it to the latest firmware, I went to the add-on, I've selected the LoRa add-on, I've clicked Save and Reboot, and now I configured my LoRa add-on. What's next? Well, next is to say to the device what I wanted to control, what data I wanted to send. So I can do it via script. And as you can see, my LoRa send script is already running. And it's a fairly simple script. This is the simplest I could have think of. Basically, the thing it does, it has a counter that sends the same message counted, meaning it sends ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 51, etc. For how long? It sends data every 5 seconds and it repeats until I stop it. This is what I'm sending to the device. And what my other device is doing, you see on the left of me? Well, it has a receiver script. I'm not going to go through it because it's a bit complicated, but basically what it does is I receive the packet, I check if the message is correct or not. If not, I discard it. If yes, I toggle the LED light right here. Basically, I switch it for 300 milliseconds, and that's why you see the light. But imagine that you can do everything like this. For example, you can take any sensor data. Imagine that this relay is connected to a sensor, for example, an HNT sensor, and you get some temperature that you want to report in predefined threshold. The use cases are limitless, literally. And as I mentioned, to make it even easier for you, we are releasing some examples, some snippets of code that you can reuse. They're going to be live, I guess, at the end of the month in our GitHub page, and also in this snippets part right here, for those of you who are familiar with it. Basically, we're going to give you like templates that are for use cases that we've encountered with early customers, or some snippets, for example, how to encrypt the traffic to make sure other people are not able to read it, etc. And this is it. If you think about it, it's super straightforward, it's super simple. I guess we can go to questions now, if you're okay, guys. Yeah, until Shania is ready. Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm here.
Yeah, thanks for saving me.
Perfect. I think that was a great workshop, I would say. Not just a webinar, but a workshop for sure. It was very interesting. Seeing also the light, the street light was great. So something that I've recognized, we do have at the moment 2 questions in the chat, but of course for the audience, feel free to add your questions. We are here to answer. As you can see, we do have some extra time. Maybe if you want, before we jump into the Q&A, since we still, exactly as I mentioned, still time, we can summarize once again the benefits and summarize the presentation, and then we can go to the Q&A session.
Yeah. Well, the important thing that you need to understand for LoRa Add-On, I'm just going to stop it so it doesn't click all the time. Basically, in a nutshell, the goal of the device is to give you a relay some additional wireless technology. Basically, to give you, if you use the Shelly Gen 4 devices, you already have Zigbee, you already have Wi-Fi, you already have Bluetooth. With the LoRa Add-On, you also have the LoRa connectivity. And as I mentioned, this is the perfect connectivity for use cases where you want to control something that's in the wild. Imagine that you have a house and you have a very big yard. How do you control the sensors that are on next to your to the border of the yard that might be 500 meters away or 200 meters away, or even to control your door that you want to open? And this is the device to do it. Because other way you have to go in through some cell towers or cell technology and things like that.
Perfect. Okay, so we can step into the questions. We do have some great questions, I think, in the Q&A section. So I'm going to start with the first one. Can we use one Shelly device with LoRa Add-On as a gateway or sender to control several other Shelly devices configured as a receiver with LoRa Add-On? If yes, there is a limit for the number of the devices that we can use as a receiver. This is the very first question that we received from Nuno. Thank you very much.
That's a good question. Thanks a lot. Yes, the answer is yes. You can have one sender and basically a limited number of receivers. Basically, how it works is you send some commands. The device that receives it understands that it's for it, and you have the script that tells it what to do. Basically, you're broadcasting the message, but only the devices that are interested in that message are going to receive it and know what to do. So answer is yes, and the receivers are basically limitless, as long as the environment is not super noisy because of these receivers and senders.
Perfect. The next question: can I send and receive data parallelly or simultaneously? Maybe. Oh, yeah, parallel.
Send and receive in the same time?
Can I send and receive data? Yes, this is the question.
If you want one and the same device to be able to send and receive data from the same device, yes, that is possible. You just have to make sure that you're not sending and receiving at the same time. I think actually that we've fixed that in the firmware, so it's not possible to make a mistake with it. If you want to have multiple senders, for example, and multiple receivers, you can do 2 things, or if you want to have several senders and several receivers, and if you want them all to work with the same configuration, then you have to just make sure that the senders are not sending in the same time, because you're going to have noise and maybe your message will be distorted. And if you want to have, for example, several senders and several receivers and all of these to be completely different networks, the easiest way is just to configure different subbands or different channels, the way I showed in during the LoRa configuration.
Okay, perfect. The next one, we have 2 questions from Hein. I'm gonna ask for the second question that you asked, Hein. Can you make changes remotely if you do not have Wi-Fi connectivity for the Shelly devices or offsite, in brackets?
Yes, if by changes you mean, for example, switching the relay or dimming the device or basically controlling the functions of the host device, for example, the Shelly dimmer, yes, you can, definitely. This is the goal of the LoRa add-on. If the question is, can you control the LoRa configuration remotely? Currently, no, but it's something that we're thinking to add with the protocol.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. The next question is, where we configure the app keys, we can use gateway and LoRa providers like TTN or ChirpStack.
Yeah. Okay. This is my favorite question, by the way. So I'm going to jump to this slide. So TTN and all the other providers with the gateways, they're using LoRaWAN. And again, we're using just the LoRa technology, the physical layer. So this device, it uses the LoRa technology, and the protocol that runs on top of the LoRa technology, I mean the LoRa radio modulation technology, it's not LoRaWAN. It's a specially designed protocol for that. So the answer is no. We cannot connect to the gateways of TTN or the other network providers, just because we use different protocols. And we decided to do this because the LoRaWAN protocol is honestly very burdensome. We didn't want to use it so far, and we use the LoRa. The LoRa protocol we currently have because you don't need any underlying infrastructure. Because if we use LoRaWAN, you need to ensure you have gateway, and currently you don't. So because we are not using LoRaWAN, you don't need any app keys or joint procedures with the LoRaWAN or stuff like that. It's way, way, way simpler for that and user-friendly.
Okay, perfect. Thanks a lot. The next one. I use the add-on for sensors. Can I have LoRa and another add-on on the same Shelly unit?
I guess you have the sensor add-on. No, currently you cannot use both the sensor add-on and the LoRa add-on because basically they fit in the same connector, the same socket. You can choose between one of the two.
Okay. A Shelly can work as a Bluetooth gateway. Does this work with LoRa?
Yes, and the way to do it, it's something I've been personally playing with scripts. So basically, you can get data via the gateway. Forget what I said. Imagine that your Shelly Gen 4 device or Gen 3 device, it's a Bluetooth gateway for some other device, like the Blue HNT, for example. It's possible that when you get the temperature from the Blue HNT to your Shelly device, you can send this information via LoRa, especially in the case where this device is in a place where you don't have any other technology. And actually, I'm doing exactly the same use case in my underground garage. Because it's underground, I don't have anything. I don't have cell signal, I don't have Wi-Fi, I don't have anything. And I very much need to track the humidity in that garage. And this is the way I do it currently. So, simple answer, yes, you can do it definitely.
And the next question actually is very straightforward. When the product will be available in our Shelly.com webpage?
Hopefully in the next 10 days. It's in the warehouse. We're waiting for the firmware version 1.6.0 to roll out, so the host devices are able to recognize the Shelly LoRa add-on. But very, very, very soon.
So very soon.
If not sooner.
Perfect. So wait for the updates. Okay, use case is that we have around 85 lamps on a parking spot running on DALI 2. Is it possible to add this into the CTS system via Modbus?
Okay, my first answer is yes, I think so, because I'm not sure about what is your use case and what is receiving the data, but if it's a Shelly device that receives the data, a DALI device, for example, the answer is yes. And if it's Modbus, yes as well. Actually, it's going to be a lot simpler when we release the protocol, especially for your use case, but even now you can do it.
Perfect. And we have a last question in the chat. What will be the selling price?
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't checked it. So we have to wait and see.
Okay, so we will confirm.
Yeah.
Okay, another question. With this add-on, can I control the Shelly device as normal from the Shelly app with all the functionality, or just limited what I scripted?
Yeah, that's also a very good question that I missed. This is a debate we've had, and currently the way to control the Shelly LoRa add-on is through the embedded web. The only thing that you can see through the app are the scripts that are running and some notifications there. But if you want to get the full experience right now, as of release, I strongly suggest to use the embedded web of the host device. It's going to be a lot easier for you to, and you have a lot more flexibility there.
Perfect. Okay. In the future, is it possible to have this available on ProLine device? A request?
Yes, it is.
It is. Perfect. And is it planned support for uni devices?
For uni devices, not the. If you think about the Shelly Uni, not directly. We haven't thought about that. No,
Okay.
Not on the roadmap right now. But yeah, the Pro devices are on the roadmap.
Perfect. Perfect. So we don't have any other questions for the moment. We still have 30 minutes or more than even 30 minutes. So feel free to ask your questions. Okay, they are coming. How much time till US market? A great question.
Well, honestly, my goal is a couple of months. We are currently working. The US market, the US market is a bit tricky. We are currently developing. If you are familiar with LoRa, in Europe, with European market, is very straightforward how you can use the spectrum. Basically, they tell you can use the channel for this amount of time. In US, it's a bit trickier because you have something called frequency hopping. Basically, the US regulators say, hey, you can use this frequency for limited amount of time. They need to hop to another frequency, then to another frequency, then to another frequency. We are currently developing this frequency hopping. We have an early version that we are testing. And if everything goes well, I hope really soon. I just don't want to give you a concrete date that something might happen and I miss, and I don't want to be, to give you false hopes. If it's up to me and I see how things are going, I would say soon.
Perfect. What about security issues? Is other Shelly has the same parameters can control my Shelly? This is how exactly it's written, but yeah.
In terms of security, you can. With the protocol, we're going to have a built-in encryption based on SHA-256. Currently, with the existing implementation via scripts, you can do this via the script, and we're going to give you a template how to do it. In our GitHub public repository, this will be added, I would say at the end of the month, let's say 31st of March. We'll have templates you can use to add encryption and to ensure your packets can't be read from some malicious third party. If this doesn't answer the question, just ask it again, please.
Perfect. One question from Shelly Spain. Can we think of water counters? How could we combine Shelly plus Uni functions? And I mean count in and analog input.
I can answer that like this. If there is a way, in your use case, if you have a way to get this data to a LoRa Add-On compatible device, we can send it through LoRa, and we can control the devices through LoRa. Now think about it this way: to be able to use the LoRa Add-On, you need to have a host device, like 1 Gen 3, 1 PM Gen 3, 1 Gen 4, etc. That utilizes this LoRa radio technology. So if we manage to get this data to the relay or to the compatible device, in a nutshell, we can use it.
Perfect. Another question: where can we find further info about LoRa? Any data sheets, etc.?
It's within the knowledge base, and this will be live at the moment. We have green light for sale, and this means that when we have the 160 on the market. Before that, I don't think we have anything on the internet right now. But okay, short answer is when the device is in the Shelly shop, then everything will be out. The knowledge base, the data sheets, everything. But if you're interested in something specific, just shoot now. I'll try to give you the information.
Okay, the next question is a request more than a question.
Okay.
And it's about Spanish. Could you include Spanish in your next products and on the web?
Yep.
So
yeah.
this is a request. Thank you for
yeah.
the request overall.
Yeah, thanks. We'll put this as a note, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
The Shelly Unit device, I think this is a suggestion. And from Nuno, we have one more question. Can I use the Wi-Fi extended range to control other Shelly devices from a Shelly with LoRa Add-On?
I understand the question the way that if you can use both Wi-Fi enabled and LoRa enabled as a connectivities, answer is yes. If the question is if you can use both at the same time, yes, you can. They're different antennas, so you can.
Perfect. What is the RF-TX power? Do you need the line of sight to get long range?
Depends on the use case. The power is 25 milliwatts. That's the max power allowed by the European Union. It really depends on the use case. It's not a straight answer. If you want to have the best possible range, it's highly recommended to have a line of sight. But there are also other factors playing. For example, if the air is polluted with other technologies that are using the same frequency. For example, basically, are the channels that you're using noisy? And for example, when testing here in the city, where I can imagine there is a lot of noise, we can get in line of sight direct line of sight between the devices 5 kilometers. At some other places, where the air is clean of other technologies and other signals, you might even get more. But as a nutshell, to have the best possible coverage, you need, let's say, 2-3 things. Let's see how they are. So line of sight, clean channels, meaning you don't have noise. And to make it better, ensure that the antenna that you have is straight up. I mean, if you can put it, just make sure the antenna is straight up in your use case. We also tested it, like to bend it a lot and to do some very strange forms with it. It also works, but this can decrease the signal because you're playing with the length of the antenna. So 3 things: direct line of sight, ensure less noise in the channel, and make sure your antenna is straight.
Perfect. Jacob, the way I understand it right now, LoRa Add-On will not really work with Home Assistant. Will the protocol fix this so the product can be used with Home Assistant, Homey, or etc.?
Can you say about what use case you have in mind to be able to answer? And I'm also interested, what's your idea, how you can use it?
Okay. I'm not in the,
Okay.
Sorry.
Thanks a lot.
Can I use a Shelly device with the LoRa add-on as a repeater? Is the next question. Sorry.
Yeah, the short answer is yes. It's something that we want to build in the protocol, and it is a harder task than it sounds. Currently, you can do it via scripts. It's a bit of work. We also will add it in the protocol. I cannot promise you it's going to be in the first version we are going to release, but definitely it's something we want to add. Yeah. I was just going to go into a lengthy discussion how we are going to do it, but I'm afraid we can lose half of the audience, so I'll stop here. But short answer is yes, you can do it, and we are going to make it simpler for you with the protocol in the future.
A very interesting question. What are the regulatory and certification requirements for using Shelly LoRa add-on in India? Does it support India voltage standard? And this is 230 watts and 50 hertz.
Honestly, I'm not familiar with the regional requirements for India on top of my head. I'm just absolutely sure that India had how LoRa works. Just a step back. If you look at the slides, if you see the slides, yeah, thanks. If you see the slide, you can currently see that on the LoRa add-on, we've added the regions and frequencies that the LoRa add-on supports. On top of my head, I'm not sure which frequencies India currently recommends to use or have to use. I'll bet it's somewhere around here. So if it is, we can add it. And honestly, I'm not sure what are the LoRa regulations out there for the Indian market. Yeah, but if it, okay, let's put it like this. In terms of signal strength or the max output power the LoRaWAN currently has, I'm quite sure India's requirements will fit. The EU requirements for 25 milliwatts are stringent enough, so I think it will. Basically, we have to add the India region as a support. And these are my thoughts thinking out loud. So we don't, but to put it simply, this device currently does not have support for Indian regional frequencies, but I'm pretty sure we can add them in the future if there is demand for this.
Okay, interesting question. What is the time frame for release of firmware 1.6? This is a little bit different topic, but
really hope to be in the next couple of weeks.
okay.
And this is not a promise. This is my best guess.
Yeah, we can't disclose any dates at the moment, unfortunately. Yeah. Perfect. Is it possible to get help to script LoRa and connection to Modbus after this meeting? We need to set another session, but we don't have it planned at the moment. Definitely, honestly, with the help of the worksheets that will be shared, maybe you can go for it, but for the moment we don't have anything planned. You can also ask the Facebook community, the Shelly Support English version. There you can ask your questions, and definitely internally someone from internal teams can help you better, but we don't have planned webinar at the moment. Okay, will the add-on work with an i4 Gen 3 to send switch state data from a remote location?
Currently, as of today, the i4 Gen 3 is not in the compatibility list. I think we might be able to add it before the release, but I was not sure. That's why I haven't added it here. Yeah, I cannot promise you right now that it's going to work. We are doing our best to be able to do it.
Okay. Okay, are there any devices for testing available by now, or do we have to wait the official release? Yeah, I think.
You have to wait for the official release, because even if you get the LoRa add-on with you, you won't have the firmware version or on your Shelly host device that supports the LoRa add-on. That's the thing. That's why we are waiting for the 1.6 firmware. It's going to enable the host devices, the compatible Shelly devices that use the LoRa add-on to recognize it and use it.
Perfect. LoRa antennas. Does an antenna come with a device, or can we buy external antennas in looking for line of sight 1 km max?
Currently, the antenna comes with the device. It's attached to the device. You cannot replace it. Okay, you can if you know how to solder and unsolder, but you have to be very precise. If you mean that if you want to add like a bigger antenna, okay, if you're good with gadgets, you can always do it. Let's put it like this. But we also think of adding other devices that are coming that use LoRa and have bigger antennas for these use cases.
Perfect.
That you probably envision, I guess.
Interesting question. Is LoRa support planned for Shelly X?
Is LoRa support plan for Shelly X? Can you elaborate? What do you mean by that?
Let me just share.
Yeah.
For example, when someone plans to implement Shelly into smart lawn mower powered by Shelly, that cuts lawn over a large area. This is the example shared by Jacob.
Honestly, I don't know, but it's a good use case. I haven't thought about. I have to think about. I don't have a ready answer, but it's an interesting question. I'm going to dig into this. It's a good one. Thanks. Sorry for not being able to answer straight.
Can I control status of device Gen 4 from Zigbee with LoRa add-on to send this status to the other Shelly device with LoRa?
Currently, you can control it through the embedded web. So in this case, you have to use the Wi-Fi version or the Wi-Fi Bluetooth version or the embedded web version, not directly compatible with Zigbee right now.
Okay. Perfect. Is included by built-in acknowledge. For example, if I control a valve in the distance, how can I ensure is the message received? Once again, Shelly X device here included.
Yeah. If I were you, and if this is the use case you have, and I guess it's not a mass use case, I would just send back an acknowledge via the script. For example, I receive your message, I do the operation, and I send back a message that I did it. I mean, you have the two devices. This one saves the information, sends command to the valve, and this device responds back that it has performed the operation. This is the easiest way. It's a bit of scripting, but not that much.
Okay. So we have one last question here. Is there plans to make pass-through features so that receiver device could simply pass through all the features of the center?
Pass through all the features. Sorry, I don't understand the question. Can you elaborate on it, if possible? I'm not sure how to answer.
Yeah, okay, great. So this is the last question overall that we have in the line here. So I think we received some very great questions,
Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
And thank you very much for answering them so confidently. And as I mentioned, he's the expert. Perfect. We still have 20 minutes, but if this is it, very shortly we will upload this recording in this webinar to Shelly Academy YouTube channel. We will announce it in Shelly community in Facebook. You can go and watch the recording, and if you have any questions in the future, feel free to ask in the community. And yeah, overall, once something else to mention, you will receive also an automatic recording after this session, but of course, we will have it available in YouTube as well. So just to mention. And overall, this is it. Miro, thank you very much. This was amazing webinar. It was very interesting. And yeah, people are saying thank you. Thanks, guys. Waiting for... Perfect. Thank you very much. Something to mention that next Friday we have a Shelly Smart Control webinar for how to control devices, and then we have a webinar for Matter technology, and we have on the pipeline a Zigbee technology planned. We will share very soon the exact dates for Zigbee, but Matter is on 4th of April. Once again, an amazing experts will join us to demonstrate, walk us through, and share a little bit more information about this technology. So yeah, overall, thank you. Have a great evening, day, morning. Bye.
Bye.